I'd like to welcome you to BeMoreNews.com, the news before the news, where we uncover the truth.
An accent. We need God. Because only God can bring us out of this mess.
Wonderfully made. I may not look like you and you me, but that's the way it's supposed to be. Dare to be you, dare to be me, and dare to be different and unique. I'm gonna be the best me I can be by letting its glory shine through. Dare to be you, dare to be me, and dare to be.
Good morning. Welcome to the show. It's the June 22nd edition. June 22nd, 2022. 6/22/2022. That's a lot of twos in the date. What, 5 twos? Lord have mercy, that's a lot of twos. You know, world, if you live in Baltimore and you drive too fast, you're bound to set off a speed camera. You know, that flash that just appears in your rearview mirror. And then like 15 days later, you get this ticket in the mail. That's a reality of life. Bills, there are bills due every month. Like if you don't pay your cell phone bill, they warn you, then they cut it off if you don't pay it. That's a rule. You go out there and shoot somebody, you're getting locked up, charged with murder. Those are the rules. Well, there's some other rules that are not written. When one of your utility carriers calls you up before 9 a.m., there's an unwritten rule that if you call a black person's house in Baltimore and the bill has already been paid, you're bound to get leaned on. And if you so happen to have an accent, say Indian, say Asian, say not American, you probably get cussed out. You probably will. It's a reality. That's what happened this morning. I'm minding my own business. The bill was paid. And they call you up when you go into the automated system, bill is paid. But yet invariably someone calls you up and says, the bill is not paid before 9 a.m. in Baltimore in a black person's house. I don't think I cussed him out. I really don't remember because I was half asleep. I know I should have been up, but I was up researching this show. Lord have mercy. Good morning, everybody. It's election time. What is your pet peeve? Since we're on pet peeves, I got a pet peeve for you. You ready? Here you go. Hey, Rico, the trash can is right there. It's like you can touch it. The trash can, right there, right? You can, if you weren't, you could touch it. It's right there. It's right there. And guess what happened? People just throw the trash on the ground. I watched some young people yesterday, and it was like 100 young people. So I wasn't going over there and being Mr. Adult, getting my hind parts whipped. No, not on Pennsylvania Avenue. But I watched this young lady just throw trash down on the ground, no looking for the trash can, which is right there. Just threw the trash down, the normalcy of it. This is your neighborhood. You're dirtying up your neighborhood. Do you like living in trash? Rats like trash. Drug dealers like trash. But normal people don't. I guess it's a value call. Normal people shouldn't like to live around trash. Our ancestors didn't like living around trash. Well, they didn't have much, but damn if they didn't clean up what they had. If you had one suit back in the day, your mother would tell you hang your suit up. Take care of that one suit. Y'all got me in rare form today. Tell a marker to call in this house before 9 o'clock when the bill was paid. And maybe the bill wasn't paid, but I tried to pay the damn thing. Then they send you through this virtual loop, and you will think you're going to be talking to somebody in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and instead you got somebody in Islamabad. No, I pay top dollar. I want top dollar English. Corporations be trying to cut themselves a break. They trying to cut a discount. These corporations, these American corporations, these fat, lazy CEOs who want more and more of a raise. They go to Pakistan, Bangladesh. I love you people. I just don't need you on my phone trying to speak English, especially before 9 o'clock in the morning. I wouldn't be in Islamabad trying to speak Islamabadese early in the morning, trying to wake you up with my bad Islamabadese. Corporations can't save money. You got to get American. We want American on the phone. The phone company, we want American. Anything related to these United States of America, we want a American customer service rep. That's what I want. American. 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 Born in these United States. Born in the USA. Born in the US. That's what we want when we make that call. American. Good morning. I'll even take some county people. Good morning. How are you? I'm wonderful. I want to settle and want to resolve this bill. What you say, all I'm asking is one time. What you say? If I cannot get an audible response without straining my hearing, then we're going to have a problem. Why do corporations keep trying to take the cheap way out? People in Islamabad East don't speak American. They speak English, their variation thereof. But this is Baltimore. And what we do not want, it should be in the Bible. Okay, well, whatever's next to the Bible. But it should be maybe in the Constitution. Do not call a black person's house before 9 o'clock over a bill. That's suspect. All right, we got an election coming up. This clerk's race is getting real interesting. Kim Banks is running. Lenore Dawson is running. Shanae is running. Very interesting race. The clerk that's down there at Baltimore City is leaving. Michael Randolph. That's Michael Randolph from Florida. Shifting gears, make sure you go check on the seniors. I got a senior. Boy, he fickle on answering the phone. But we just got to keep checking on our seniors. So big ups, happy birthday to my main man, Mr. Phil. I missed him on Monday. And this week has been rolling by. But check on your seniors. A kind word will go very far. A lot of people feeling isolated, and this is very serious. We have to check on the seniors because everybody's going through this mental health Olympics. Past 3 years, 2.5 years has been a mental Olympics on your peace of mind. You can't drink your way out of it. You can't drug your way out of it. You can't gamble your way out of it. Gamble your way out of a home. I'm not a senior just yet, Michael Haney. But you are a senior. Michael Haney, what you like? You like, Mike, you like 82 this year? Forgot what Mike is this year, 81 or 82. But you know what? I'm going to take Michael Haney's joke because even though we poke at each other, Michael Haney is a very dependable man, very dependable brother. He loves this network, blackusa.news, of which we are very proud to be on. So we'll take those jabs from Mr. Michael Haney Sr., who looks really good for his age. I mean, God bless me to reach 92, that I'm up and around moving like that. So, yes, check on your seniors, check on your neighbors, speak to your neighbors. How many of us know our neighbor's name? Now, if you live in a neighborhood like mine, you know, renters can be in and out. It can be often transient. People coming and going, coming and going. Some are moving in, some are moving out all the time. That's why I like homeowners. You know, getting older, getting up there into Michael Haney's sphere, people 60, 70, 80. You don't want a lot of foolishness. You don't want a lot of negative vibes. My boy Leroy puts it like this. Leroy says he goes where he is celebrated, not where he is tolerated. Every now and then we need a self-esteem check. Every now and then we need that reminder of who we are. And sometimes you got to remind yourself. What that song say? Sometimes you've got to encourage yourself. Sometimes you got to encourage yourself. There's nobody else to do it. Sometimes you have to count victory over the test. Yeah, no matter what you're going through, just keep the faith and have some good people around you, like Chap Lovelace. Some of y'all might wonder, who is this guy, Chap Lovelace, always on the show? Well, that's our dear brother from another mother. And while he is not of the African-American persuasion, he does have 2 black sons. Race shouldn't even matter. When y'all hear me talking about the addicts in my neighborhood, and in some ways I'm getting therapy, and another way I'm informing. I'm informing on a topic that you will not hear discussed on any news network in Baltimore, black or white. Nobody talks about the inundation of addicts, not of the majority demographic of Sandtown, who are walking our streets at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. You could have house insurance and all of that stuff. You better have prayer. That's what living in Sandtown reminds me. You better stay in prayer. Well, Michael Haney, I just dare you to come in here because you think you can take over. And that's because you're tall. You are taller than me. But I've often wondered about tall people like you, Mike Haney. Does the blood flow, to the brain as, evenly as it does for us people like 5'9"? Sometimes people as tall as giraffes, that blood doesn't always get up to the top. Chap is the man. So Chap is he's a chaplain. He's also the best friend of a best friend. So I guess that makes him my best friend. And that means that this network is stuck with him. But Dave Lovelace, we call him Chap. Heart of gold, willing to help anybody, everybody. He understands the trauma, the racial trauma that this city has imposed on Black people. Dion Quick, look like a Dunbar poet. Don't make me come in and take over your studio. I don't know that your vocabulary is tight enough, Michael Haney. He talks back early in the morning. That's my Dunbar poet. Big ups to Dunbar. I met Dunbar's wide receiver coach yesterday up in Mondawmin. Big ups to Dunbar. I am a Dunbar poet. Don't make me pull out my maroon. I started at Poly, though, so sometimes you may see me make reference to Poly, and my children went to Poly. So I have both Poly and Dunbar and my family. And I never want to be in a position to have to choose this school or that school. Both are near and dear to me. I got things at Poly that I would never get at Dunbar, and I got things at Dunbar I would never get at Poly. Just trust me. Trust me on that one. So what's going on in the city? We got a governor's race. This is 622, so the election for governor on the Democratic side is over July 19th. Early voting starts in a couple of weeks. It's coming up. Early voting. We get to choose the next governor. Oh, there he goes. This is the Denzel Washington of BlackUSA.net.
Hey, well, I appreciate that, Donnie. I appreciate
Denzel.
that.
Oh, that's Mike Haney. My bad. I got my glasses on.
Hey, listen, ask your viewers if I look 82 years old, first of all.
Now, actually, you look more like 12.
38, Donnie, 38. With the wisdom of someone 82, but I'm 38.
Well, how much Grecians do you use?
Well, they said something about black don't crack. I never heard that expression, but I looked in the mirror and I said, wow, maybe that applies to me and Donnie.
Oh, I'm brown.
You got it. Oh my, we're going back to the 30s. So you want to be categorized and you're special now, right? Because you can't be black.
Well, that's black.
Yeah. Drink some coffee,
black.
Donnie. Drink some coffee. It's all good.
Governor,
from a complexion standpoint, you're right. There's no doubt what I am. And then when you hear me talk, maybe there's even more no doubt of what I am.
Well, when I look at you, you look like you're from Kenya. Plus, you got that little slope head like them Kenyanese have.
Thank you, Donnie. I appreciate that. That makes me proud. Hey, Donnie, there was a Raven linebacker that died today at 26. Man, did you hear about the Raven linebacker? What's his name? Ferguson. He's dead, man. It's been all over the news, and I'm not sure what the circumstances are behind him dying, but it's.
Well, the big news has been that young 40-year-old brother that owned Remix and the tax joint on Liberty Road, 40 years old, killed in front of his house.
Unbelievable, man.
4 o'clock in the morning.
And that's the one that had he had the tax firm. He had the tax firm in the county as well. Businessman, entrepreneur.
This cat say he looked 45. That's what Michael Randolph said. I know he every bit of 82. Talk about stroking your own ego.
Hey, well, Mike looks great. It's the Tampa weather. It's that Florida weather, because you talked about never going to Florida because of Trayvon Martin, and then Mike's down there in Florida holding it in for us.
Hey, I believe it when I see it. He might be a hostage down there. You never know. He might have been kidnapped or something. He could be sending us messages in a bottle from a prison in Guantanamo Bay or something. Because
nobody from Baltimore is held hostage anywhere. They leave us alone wherever we go. He from Baltimore. Leave him alone.
Well, see, Mike, I can't dispute that, because every time I've traveled, they don't even have to ask some of us if you're from Baltimore. They like, Baltimore. That's right. What?
Well, they said when they were thinking about bombing American cities, they mentioned Baltimore, and they said, something Baltimore. Don't leave Baltimore alone. They crazy there.
Kind of like Notorious B.I.G.
We're not afraid to speak the truth, man. We're not afraid to speak the truth. And what's the truth today? What's the truth this morning? What's
the line that a Brooklyn basement? I can hear Biggie Smalls talking about a Brooklyn basement. Only the serious hip hop. Let me ask you, are you a serious hip hop fan?
I enjoy the music because I still like to dance, and I dance pretty well. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I get on the floor and I dance for hours and hours and hours, right? And so hip hop, country, my mother turned me on to country, which was surprising. She was looking at the Country Music Awards about maybe 20 years ago, and I'm like, why are you listening to country? And then I heard about Charlie Pride, and I think, who was the most recent brother that hosted the Country Music Awards? And so what it taught me was expanding beyond my environment and my comfort level. So to your question, I listen to all sorts of music. I listen to gospel. I listen to classical music. And there's a gospel person here in Baltimore, Jessica Green Morgan, right? And she's running in the 40th district for council person, right? And she won the Stellar Awards.
No, she's running for delegate.
She's running for council person, Donnie. I know. I just had lunch with her last week, man.
When is she running for council person?
Well, let's put it this way. She's running against Sharon Green Middleton.
Oh, so she's running for council person in 2 years.
Yeah, in 2 years. But she's announcing now. She's one about young people.
Right now, don't confuse the people. We're talking about the state election. The state election where we choose the next governor, attorney general, comptroller, state senator.
Hey, we got all that, man. We got all that. We're talking about the landscape of politics, period. You mentioned the clerk, right? The clerk position isn't a state position, is it? Donnie, you don't want to mess with me this time of the morning because I'm up at 6.
Hey, bro, I know who the hell being elected. Okay. I know being elected because they advertising over here and they sent the check.
Okay. So you only associate with checks. Is that what you're saying?
What's wrong with that? I'm a businessman. No check,
there's
no
nothing
business.
wrong with that, but you also are Black USA.
Don't put words in my mouth. A check does help me to visualize better.
Donnie, you will never have to worry about me putting any of my words in your mouth. They don't fit.
Okay, we are voting for the new clerk of the court this year.
In Baltimore City, right?
Yes.
Which goes against what you said a few minutes ago. We're only talking about statewide elections. Isn't that what you just said?
It has to do with the state.
The clerk is a state position?
Is the Baltimore City State's attorney a city or a state position?
It's a city position.
That's where you got to go back to class because you missed homeroom. And the teacher, had you not missed homeroom, you would have gotten a memo. Baltimore City State's attorney happens in a statewide election year.
Well, I think that's an oxymoron, and we're playing oxymoron. Did you hear me?
It don't matter.
I'm not talking about you specifically.
What goes down this year?
We're talking about Baltimore City, Donnie. We're talking about the Baltimore City Clerk's office. We talked about the Baltimore City attorney that's called the state's attorney that Governor Hogan has no control over, because if he did, he would probably do something different, But I want to pick up on. I saw your commentary on Thuroo Vigor. I can't pronounce his name. Don't want to. To your point,
nasty.
Yeah. Okay. So you did a commentary. You also had a clip, a 17-minute video clip, with this white guy from Pennsylvania that thought that he was going to. Do you remember that? You had it out there yesterday. He thought he was going to do some good because he was so frustrated about having to leave a worker in the car so it wouldn't get stolen that he says, I'm a campaign for Thuroo, right? And this was in your thing yesterday. And wow, man, he had some things to say about Thuroo, who, I don't have necessarily a dog to fight in that hunt. I believe that Maryland and many of the Black female prosecutors around the country have it right in terms of how they see 21st century prosecution, particularly when it comes to people of color. They just may have picked the wrong time. I'm not sure. Maybe there's a different strategy. But this white gentleman who volunteered for Thuroo that Doni had in his commentary yesterday, compelling the things he said about Vigru, or whatever you call him,
freaking nasty,
right? In terms of that he thinks he's a narcissist and that he will be worse.
Somebody just didn't say thanks to this guy for his volunteer time.
He said he had a peek of the guy's personality, and although he's appeasing us now, that when he gets in a position of power, that this guy is going to be, someone that we will, be a force to reckon with, and it's unfortunate. And to the point that we really have to get to know the people who say they want to represent us. I interviewed yesterday a guy named Dan Cox, a self-proclaimed Trump lover. He loves Trump. Dan Cox.
Why does he love Trump? Because if he loves Trump, he loves the traitor.
Well, you got to listen to the interview. I urge everyone to go off on Black.
I know you want to take over, Tip. I don't care who y'all bring on. Bring on everybody. But a traitor is a traitor is a traitor. If your daddy or my daddy would have been cowards,
hey, Doni,
to climb some wall at the Capitol, and hold up, stop cutting me off, and bring embarrassment to our
interjecting.
They will be. White America could do nothing to them because we would have already banned them, banished them.
Doni, go up on the Baltimore City Republican Party website, and you'll see a bunch of people that look just like you with pictures taken with Donald Trump. So my point is, Doni, is that you may have that feeling, and you're entitled to that because you're an individual with your own
traitor. He's a traitor that caused an insurrection in this country. If he were in Haiti, they would have did to him what they tried to do to Toussaint Louverture, Jean-Jacques Dessalines.
Hey, Donald Trump tried to do nothing more than many of the rulers around the world try to do. He tried to take over. He didn't want to leave office. It happens all the time. So should we be mad at him, or should we have him in check? Donald Trump didn't do anything that many autocratic countries don't do. So, but you have a bunch of Black people in Baltimore City that are Republicans, man. Go up on the Republican website for Baltimore City and take a look at it. Talk about Clem Classic. Talk about the reverends and the preachers that went down and got money from Donald Trump when he was in office. One, a famous Baptist bishop from Baltimore that was in right next to Donald Trump's office. Talk about Kwame Brown, the former mayor of Detroit, and ask him if he hates Donald Trump. Think he hates Donald Trump?
The former mayor of Detroit?
Kwame. Yeah.
Time out. Whose fault is Kwame's getting kicked out of office? Whose fault?
It's his fault. But who's good is it him getting taken out of jail? He's going to tell you Trump. So my only point is that, while you said, and I don't disagree with you, that there may be some concerns there. But let's study and look at the entire aspect of things, which we can do on Black USA News. You know what I'm saying? Give people the entire picture of what it looks like. You know what I'm saying? Because everyone that looks like you and me don't necessarily agree with what we're saying. And you got a lot of people out there that, figure Dan Cox is the man.
Did you read this book?
I got 5 copies, Donnie, of which you signed 1.
So that's
matter of fact, I'm selling them for $5 more than you have listed as the price.
Did you know that one of the heroes in this book is a white man?
Who's that? Chat?
No. You really want to get a copy and you want to read the book. It's a 98-page read. That's a good Sunday paper. But one of the heroes in this book is a white man. Black Wall Street in Tulsa happened in part because of a white man. And I'm the author that did the research that can tell you all about it. I Am Black Wall Street.
So let's talk about that white man, and what's your point?
No, let's send people to Amazon and Barnes & Noble so they can buy the damn book. No, you buy the book. The book is on Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
I see Sylvia's comment that Kilpatrick or Kwame was a gangster, right? Kwame tried to be a Marion Barry, but he aligned his own pocket.
I didn't get that from Kwame.
Yeah, he tried to be like a Marion Barry.
I called a selfish little boy a selfish little boy.
You can't be as smart as he was and become mayor of Detroit and be selfish about anything. He got caught up in the egotistical aspect of power, man, which is unfortunate. He did not have a great mentor at 32 when he became mayor.
That's selfish.
We can go to our own city and look at Catherine.
You can't do the job. Selfish.
You can look at a bunch of politicians that
hey man, if you can't drive the damn car, get out the way and let somebody who can drive. Because plenty of people can drive that car that you can't seem to find the ignition hole.
Sylvia's right. He rode his mom's coattail and her political system, but he got into office. And he tried to take it all, help his friends out, and that's not unusual for us to do. We just have to figure it out.
We don't care about usual, unusual. We just want to get the damn job. I am an American.
Nah, Donnie. We want to get in there and be helpful. We got too many people going in there now and want to get the job done. What is the job, Donnie? What is the job if we always advocate for someone that looks like us in those offices and we don't benefit as a people and communities economically, it's all about ensuring people get paid. That's the bottom line, but you got to do it in a sense and with the smart that don't wind you up in jail for 20 years.
Hey, if you're black and you get in there and you become mayor, stop doing dumb stuff.
Like what?
Anything stupid. You know they watching you. But we get caught up. Stop cutting me off.
I'm interjecting, Donnie. I'm interjecting. You have to understand.
We get caught up in the feeling. I'm the mayor. We get drunk with power. She wrote it. He riding on his butt. My daddy would not allow me to ride on his coattails. Son, you go out there and make a name for yourself. You can't ride on my coattails, son. Your daddy ain't let you ride on his coattails, son.
That's what it's all about, Donnie. It's about legacy.
Your daddy's coattails, son.
Nah, Donnie. It's about legacy, man. That's what happens. Is that we have these, look at the Kennedys. Not that we have to.
I ain't looking at no damn Kennedys. Every time you look at one to get killed, they got some bad luck as a family.
How about the Mitchells, Donnie? How about the Mitchells?
They ain't got as much bad luck as the Kennedys. Kennedys always, it's like, damn, they still alive.
Yeah. Trump's corruption as power corrupts. Look at Ben Carson. Wow. And they mentioned Ben Carson yesterday, man.
You know, let me tell you something about this black royalty.
Black royalty.
The only way as royal is if your generation act royal. Only way my family's name can be royal is if I teach my daughter, my son, my grandson, my granddaughter how to be royal.
Are the Murphys royalty here locally?
I would say Billy Murphy's family is
No, I'm not talking about Billy Murphy. Is he part? He's part of that Murphy clan that owned the Afro, right?
Well, let's define royalty.
Right.
Royalty from the Mitchell's name comes from their level of service. It comes from their level of engagement, public engagement. When we look at the metrics for this network that you so graciously helped us to build, when we look at the metrics for Be More News, the Prince Georgian, the metrics suggest what works, where your support is coming from. It also talks about your engagement. You push that on us early on. You got to be proactive. You got to get this stuff out there. Why? To get people engaging. Pretty much we got to pay the tax, the toll tax to Big Brother social media, because they'll dwindle your numbers down. But we paying admission, but we paying to be engaged, to be better engaged. When you stop being engaged, when you move into a gated community, you are no longer royalty. Your royalty didn't come from your status. Your royalty came from your level of service.
That's
and
real,
you don't
Donnie.
get to be royal if you ain't nothing like your mama or your daddy. If
That's real, Donnie.
Then you don't get no love. If you're a thief, you don't get no love. If you're a liar, you don't get no love. You get embarrassment and disdain.
Hey, Donnie, I wanna offer. I hear you. I want to offer a prayer. I want to offer a prayer to Ken Ravenel. You know, Ken Ravenel, what I considered a super attorney. He represented the Gaines family out there in Baltimore County. When their daughter was killed by the police, he's in federal court.
That wasn't J. Wendell Gordon out there in Randallstown.
I'm telling you who it was, Donnie. They were worked as a team. He's a litigator.
Okay, well, then tell the whole story, because we
don't have time for the whole story, Donnie. But my point is that we wanted to offer a prayer for him. He's in federal court now, having been hemmed up right now, getting ready to be sentenced on that one count of, taking marijuana money, whatever it is. And so, to the point of this news network of exposing these atrocities, these legal atrocities that we get caught up in. And yeah, I am Black Wall Street, but Ken Ravenel, his family, prayers, this is what this network is all about, ensuring that we put the correct information out there about atrocities that happen in our community, and so hopefully, there is some mercy, for he and his family as he goes before a federal judge down there now, Grady, having been, trumped up with these charges that he was taking money as an attorney, and we know we need our attorneys to defend us. And I think some of you out there know what I'm talking about.
That people, quite often, the white males who are a part of these federal investigating agencies often have it in for Black people.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why Theroux is so popular now, because
he's popular because Fox TV has them on every day.
Who's Fox owned by? The Sinclair Network that's tied into Packaratus? And that same family?
I was going to say the Smith family.
Packaratus. Didn't you know that? They're married into each other. Same family, man.
Packaratus. Get it right.
Packaratus.
I'm not gonna mess
Red
up
Man
name because
Atlas Restaurant Group. All of it's the same.
Atlas Restaurant Group. Then that's the group that the Black lady was told she couldn't bring her son in because he wasn't dressed appropriately. Yeah. And she said, "Look at that little white boy."
You can't fight power. You can't fight power if you don't know the intricacies of where power is all coming from. Packaratus, Sinclair, which owns Fox. Packaratus owns the Harbor in Baltimore.
So let me check you. Packaratus has been known to support Black candidates.
I thought he was dead. I thought he and his wife buried $500 million at their home in cash, and then she made mention of that and threw it up in the air.
But I know,
of course he's going to give you some money to pay you off.
I know Greek Town ain't Greek no more. I saw so many Latinos going up Eastern Avenue.
Please, Donnie, please. So you mentioned just a couple of seconds ago that Patarak has paid you off. Is that what you said? Is this the pregnant pause that they're talking about?
No, that's why I don't even dignify your question with a
Well, so the
response.
point that I'm making, Donnie, and of course that was
It looked like I would say something that's stupid.
No, you didn't, but you did because you said Patarakis was known to what?
Black political candidates for the past.
No, he was known to support years. Donald William Schaefer and all that land down there that they own. Let's get real, man.
Where do you live?
Real.
Where do you
live? I love you anyway, Donnie.
Don't you live in Florida?
Hey, I saw Quandra's show. Quandra, fantastic show. I had no idea. She has that show on horticulture. Great. Oh, Quandra, your personality was so great. And people enjoyed that. I saw your numbers. Quandra, shout out to Quandra. Now, what did you say about Florida?
Okay. Hey, Miss Sylvia, African Americans, though we can't play their games. We get caught in due time. We are survivors to get caught by our own surveil.
She's talking about me and you, Donnie. How much we love each other and how we discuss and stuff.
I think Quandra's had. I think she's got eyes on you.
Hey, Donnie, listen, man. You know.
So I got a question, Mike. You think you are a gigolo, don't you? You think you Mr. Lover, don't you? You think you suave. You think you smooth, don't you?
I'm going to handle that like you handled the question before. I'm not even going to dignify that with an answer.
Mr. Lava. So, Mike, the election is less than 30 days, the 19th, 27 days. Do any of the gubernatorial candidates remind you of a slave owner?
Nah, none that I can come to mind. None that come to mind to me. Maybe.
Who do you predict will win?
Who do I predict that will win? I think it's getting to a point of being a toss-up.
So what does Peter Franchot have to do to pull it through? Now, if
What
you
does Peter
notice,
have to do?
I have not swung on Al Hathaway one time.
And I wouldn't let you swing on anybody, so I'm glad that you didn't. So I think Peter has to ensure.
Like, hold up, there's some things that need to be exposed, like Theroux Vignaraja, the real Theroux, who is a sex-crazed maniac, or out Liberty Road, Jay Jalisi. The black people on Liberty Road have to choose between Jay Jalisi, the one who was abusive to his staff, and Ben Brooks.
That's not a choice. That's just a matter of education. If they were educated, he wouldn't be a choice. So we have to continue to educate our people out there so that they understand. Jay Jalisi
spending $500 checks in the community, give them this church money, give you a sandwich.
Yeah.
We are so goofy. Liberty Road, if y'all vote for Jay Jalisi, I'm going to laugh at you so hard.
Well, Donnie, the point is we have to educate people. That's what this network does. This network is about educating. You
can look at him and see something ain't right with that man.
Mm-hmm. But back to your gubernatorial question about what does Peter Franchot have to do to win? Peter has to make sure he holds together his base. Wes has to ensure
his base. He's never been tested. He's never been in the gym and in the ring where somebody put that
Well, I think that he's the one that beat Schaefer. Schaefer was an institution, and he came in and beat Schaefer handily. He did. But let's talk about Wes Moore and what he has to do.
I want to get back to Francho. So let me ask you, does Francho, do you see him surviving the next 30 days? Because when I saw him, he looked a little frail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's going to be a matter of Peter holding his base and Wes getting the vote
I'd love to see the old guy, stick it out. But this young buck is coming up with body shots, but
he's got he's coming up with body shots, and I think that it's crucial that if I was just to analyze it, Peter has to hold his base, Wes has to get the vote out. Wes has got to get the vote out. So at some point, he has to switch from platform to educating voters that the only way that they can see the third elected Black governor in this country is to come out and vote at the polls, which traditionally we don't do during the midterm.
So let's get these governors down pat. David Dinkins is one. The second one is in New York.
No. So it was Patrick out of Massachusetts, and it was Wilder out of Virginia.
Wilder. Who did I say?
You said somebody, Doug Dinkins, the mayor of New York.
I'm thinking about the mayor of New York. Yes, Doug Wilder.
Yeah, Doug Wilder in Virginia, and then Patrick in Massachusetts. They're the only two elected, and then we had two appointed. And I think it was 1872. The Black man in Louisiana was appointed for a few months, and then New York had an appointed one. But when you look at only 2 out of 246 years in this country, two elected, for us to think that Wes may be the third, we have to come out like it's an Obama election, man. If that's what the people want, they have to support him at the polls. And traditionally, that's an issue in our community, particularly during a midterm. The Attorney General's race is over. It's over. Anthony Brown gets that race. It's over. So if you're talking about the controller race, I think there's an opportunity. Can you imagine, and maybe this is the dream Martin Luther King had about potentially Wes Moore,
a dream
potentially Derek Davis, potentially Derek Davis, Wes Moore, and Tim Adams in the control of the money for this state. The odds aren't great.
It's overdue.
Huh?
It's overdue. I mean, people bring up, so I'm hearing this thing, help me out. I missed it, bits and pieces. Kevin Kamenitz's wife is out against Francho. Is that correct?
She made a comment that she said she was upset because of the way politics is politics. Kevin and Peter went at it all the time. And then apparently she said Peter showed up at the funeral as though he was his best friend. Well, that's how that happens. They go at it. And then, when something happens that's human, but so maybe she didn't understand politics. Maybe she doesn't understand politics.
With people on the front row. Now, damn the people on the second, third, fourth. But if somebody on that front row wants you there or don't want you there, you shouldn't be going if they don't want you there.
Well, she understands the game. She didn't ask him to leave, which she was entitled to.
Because that's rude. You should know when your ass ain't welcome. Yeah. You should know when they don't want. You should know when people looking at you side.
What do they say about politics? It makes strange bedfellows, right? It's just politics. Politics is a blood sport.
Let me tell you what they tell you about a 22-ounce empty Heineken bottle upside your head. You're gonna need stitches.
So the Attorney General's race, Quandra, to me is over. There could be a race in the controller's
so race. O'Malley is dismissed.
Yeah, she's done. She's done. Katie O'Malley's done. She's done. She's done. She's done.
The Wicked Witch is dead. The O'Malley name is.
I didn't say that. I just made a call in that race. Now,
I'm really surprised that the guy that used to name, but I tell you, when you go out there, when Bill and Hillary Clinton bring you into the game and you pimp slap them, nothing good is going to come from that.
Yeah.
When you bite the hand that feeds you, nothing good comes from that. Because they're going to
I like Katie O'Malley. I like Katie O'Malley. I think she's the better
She should have spoke up when her husband was locking up 1 in 6 of us.
Yeah. But I didn't know her then. But she came down to my hotel. She's a decent human being.
But she married him.
Everybody makes bad decisions.
Okay, this is politics.
Yeah. So let's talk about the state controller race, because I think that's where we have potentially a horse in that race, where we have to come out and vote. And Tim Adams, obviously this guy is well funded. So his message is getting out there, but can he get the voters out there? Can he come and have direct conversation with people in the next 20 some days so that they are intimately connected to him? That's what he has to do. He has to connect directly with the voters. They're seeing his name out there.
Brooke Learman has gone and secured the delegates and state senators, her colleagues in Annapolis, in a similar way that Catherine Pugh went and secured support in Annapolis before coming to Baltimore City.
Uh-huh.
I don't really know Brooke. I know when she came on this show, her answer for Black business was insufficient.
Well, this is the perfect time to bring her back and document it. See, one thing about these shows is that they are taped, right? And bring her back and question her to that. And maybe, that's helpful to Tim. Maybe it's helpful to her. And call her out.
She sent the Black PR person to me.
Really? Yeah, maybe it's a good time for you to call her back.
I don't deal with tails, I deal with heads.
I hear you. So
I don't want to talk to no PR person. Let me tell you something. I've been in business all my life. People like people who answer the phone. I done talked to mayors, governors. When aspiring politicians, oh, well, we need you to talk to this person first, I'm good. Because apparently you don't have enough respect yourself to pick up the phone and call.
Do you think she has a chance to be controller?
Huh?
Do you think she has a chance to win?
Yeah, of course.
Of course, then you need to bring her back on your show.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do. You absolutely do. And we'll talk off the show about that.
That's your job. I did my job. My job was the opening salvo. Do you support Black business? The sun is yellow. The sky is bright. Okay, apparently no. I've got my answer.
Nah, so this is when we really have to zero in terms of a strategy.
You have to zero in because
hear me out. Hear me out.
If your ass is 40 plus years old and you don't know that the Black vote swings any election, then it's not my job to tell you.
Hey, Donnie, what I'm saying to you is that this is the opportune time to hold her feet to the fire, because
it's the opportune time for the white people in Oklahoma to pay reparations for Black Wall Street, but they ain't done it.
This is an opportune time to bring her back on and ask her more directly.
You should bring on then. I wish you very well. Next topic. Listen here, man. Let me tell you something. God didn't make us beggars. I don't have to interview.
Who's begging? We're trying to be smart about our politics. We need to be smart.
I don't support you Black people. And unless you jump over here and tap dance,
I think she will tell you that she will tell you that you misheard her and that you don't know.
I ain't see a damn thing. I'm older than her. I know damn well what she said.
I guarantee you she'll tell you that you misheard her. I guarantee you she'll tell you that she did not say that
on my show. You know what? We just run out of time.
No, we haven't. We got 5 more minutes.
It's been a wonderful, wonderful Anything else you want to say before I don't even know who you are anymore.
Hey, all I got to say is that, Donnie, this network, blackusa.news, is a network where, as you say, the news before the news, and we have to be.
That's Be More News' tagline. The tagline for this network is the voice of our people.
Yeah, and giving people the news before the news, because it's all one's melting pot, right? Because how many people knew about the Ravens linebacker that died?
I took a class called Critical Listening with Dr. Judith Wilner up at Coppin State. And I learned in that class that I don't listen well. I could have missed something from Brooke Learman.
Yeah, I think you did. I think you need to bring it back.
As a professional journalist, I did not miss one damn thing.
I guarantee you, if you bring her back, you will do more for our people. You will gain more for us than you ever had imagined.
Who is us?
Our people, the people that this network is for.
Oh, I thought you were talking about, okay, all right.
So sometimes we have to have a bit of humility. And
well, I tell you what, Mike. I tell you what, Mike. You handle that for me, okay?
She'll come back for you. It's got to be
getting paid to advocate for this lady.
Maybe in 6 months when she's elected.
Okay, see, folks, know what questions asked. You see the smile? I'm good. Hell, we ain't get a damn thing out of Fran show in 8 years. He's lied to Be More News for 8 years. 8 years. Never did business with us. So when I go over here and do some business with Hogan, I don't want to hear a damn thing out of nobody. Because when I went to the Democrats, oh, we'll get to you. Not all Democrats. I'm talking about them ones that like to go to them kind of parties.
You mean hanging parties? What kind of party?
The necktie.
Oh, I thought it was a noose.
Necktie.
It could be a noose.
Same thing.
Well, that's another point. Speak to our people about democracy does not equate to Democratic
Ain't no damn
Party.
democracy in America.
It's not the Democratic Party necessarily.
We need to get out of that Democratic thing because the Democrats ain't did jack for black people in Baltimore.
Well,
Baltimore's 9-1 Democrat. Show me one new recreation center in Baltimore.
That's what Dan Cox said yesterday on the show.
I don't know no damn Dan Cox. Let me tell you something. He ain't no different than Ben Jealous. We are not in the carpetbaggers. Where the hell have you been for the past? What has he done for the past 4 years?
He helped get the.
I ain't never heard of him. Don't come over here now. The same with you, black, white. We are tired of carpetbagger politicians coming to Baltimore. Love us or leave us alone.
No, we don't. We can't let them leave us alone, Donnie. That's not that. Don't tell people that. Do not say that, Donnie. Don't say that. We have to continue to engage people in conversations to get what we want, which is why I'm urging you to pick up the phone, call Brooke Learman.
Maybe O'Malley had enough. Remember Dan Henson and O'Malley? Dan Henson invited O'Malley to the alley.
Wow, I didn't know about that.
I know you're new to the world of journalism, but it's a story that most
I've been reading newspapers since I was 4 years old.
Dan Henson, as Martin O'Malley was coming in his mare, said, look, young buck, why don't you want to meet me in the alley? Now, I actually think Martin would have beat up Dan because Martin was, pumping on at the time. Dan ain't no spring chicken. But it wasn't even about that. Like, bring your ass on out here. I'm gonna see what you got. You remember? Have you ever had that conversation in Pod? Did the 3 o'clock bell ever ring? You be like, you know what that means? Ting ding, 3 o'clock bell. You got to fight. Did you ever have to fight, Mike?
We had that all the time, man. I just didn't always want to be part of that fight and circle outside of school, moving back and forth, But yeah, we knew what that was.
3 o'clock.
Time to pay up a debt.
I think about bringing Brooke Learman on here, but we know. Listen, You don't have to tell me so many times how you feel about me. We caught it on it. Our ancestors hipped us to the game. You know when somebody's slighting you. You know when they have no love for you. You know when the only reason they're dealing with you is because they want to get you to your constituents. And no, I'm a hard liner, old liner. No, we ain't just folding because of you.
Finally, we're in a position to get people to make commitments that are documentable and heard by the community.
What's the commitment to black business? That's the question. Is she going to stand up for black business as one of 3 votes on a board of public works? If I didn't articulate the question, let me do it again. Brooke Learman, will you stand up for black business?
Guarantee you, if you answer that question today.
Well, since you already got the check, I don't need to ask, and you can just give me my finder's fee.
Donnie, it's been real, man. Thank you, man. I got to get into a business meeting, buddy.
Tell Brooke hello.
Have a nice day.
BlackUSA.News, the voice of our people. My name's Donnie Glover from Michael Haney in the insane asylum. What's that picture behind you?
That's Washington, D.C., man. George Washington's town.
I saw the obelisk. I thought it was the Sudan. And I see all that. Why is it the White House? Why isn't it the Black House? And why isn't the obelisk black? Look at this. Look at this stuff. Look at the, where's the black buildings at? These white buildings built by black people. What kind of chicanery is this, Michael Haney?
Have a nice day, Donnie. It's been real.
Good morning, world.